If you think old-school PlayStation first-person shooter games feel outdated, you're in for a surprise. This top 10 list is a wild mix, some legendary, some underrated, and a few that tried something completely different. We're going from the weird to the iconic, from experiments to genre-defining classics. And trust me, you're definitely going to love the last one. Let's jump in. Men in Black: The Series Crashdown feels like a hidden relic from a very specific era. Based on the animated show, it throws you into missions as Agent J dealing with alien threats across the city. It mixes first-person shooting with gadgets, puzzles, and light exploration. What makes Men in Black stand out is its tone. It is not trying to be super serious. You get quirky weapons, strange enemies, and that signature Men in Black humor. The shooting itself is simple, but the variety keeps things interesting. It is not the most polished FPS on the system, but it has charm. If you like weird games that actually try something different, this one is worth a look. Power Slave is one of the most unique shooters on the system, blending FPS gameplay with exploration that feels almost like an early Metroid-style experience. Instead of linear levels, Power Slave lets you revisit areas, unlock new paths, and gain abilities that open up the world. That structure makes progression feel rewarding and different from typical shooters. The Egyptian setting gives it a strong identity, with temples, traps, and enemies that stand out from the usual sci-fi or horror themes. Power Slave is not just about shooting, it is about discovery, and that is what makes it so memorable. Hexen takes the classic Doom formula and pushes it into a dark fantasy direction. Instead of guns, you are using magical weapons, spells, and choosing between different character classes. Where Hexen really shines is in its level design. The maps feel more open and interconnected, often sending you back through areas as you unlock new paths and solve puzzles. It is not as fast-paced as other shooters, but that is part of the appeal. There is more thinking involved, and Hexen rewards players who take their time. Alien Resurrection was doing things most console shooters were not ready for at the time. It introduced dual analog controls, something that now feels completely normal. Set in the Alien universe, the game leans heavily into survival. You are not overpowered, and every encounter with a xenomorph feels like a real threat. Dark corridors, limited resources, and constant pressure define Alien Resurrection. Looking back, it is clear how ahead of its time it really was. Codename Tenka stands out as one of the more experimental shooters on the platform. It mixes fast action with more open environments and a futuristic setting. Instead of tight corridors, Tenka gives you space to move, explore, and approach situations differently. That freedom makes it feel distinct even now. It is not perfect, but Codename Tenka clearly tried to push the genre forward. Disruptor shows early signs of what Insomniac games would later become. At its core, it is a shooter, but the addition of psychic powers changes everything. You are not just shooting enemies, you are stunning them, manipulating them, and approaching combat with more strategy. The pacing is quick, the weapons feel solid, and Disruptor still stands as a strong and creative entry in the PS1 lineup. Doom is already a legend, but this version has a completely different vibe. On PlayStation, the game leans much more into horror. The lighting and sound design give Doom a heavier atmosphere, almost like a darker reinterpretation. At the same time, the core gameplay is untouched. Even today, Doom feels fast, brutal, and incredibly satisfying. James Bond mixes shooting with stealth in a way that feels very different from typical FPS games. Throughout the missions, you are encouraged to think, use gadgets, and handle situations carefully. That variety helps keep things fresh from start to finish. More importantly, it captures the feeling of being Bond. From pacing to objectives, The World Is Not Enough builds an identity that goes beyond a standard shooter. It is a solid and memorable experience. Quake 2 brings fast and aggressive gameplay to the PlayStation in a way that feels surprisingly smooth. Everything in Quake 2 is about movement and momentum. The enemies push you, and the action rarely slows down. With its own unique campaign on PlayStation, Quake 2 delivers pure, focused FPS action. And our first place goes to Medal of Honor, which changed how people looked at console shooters. It shifted the focus to a grounded World War II setting and cinematic storytelling. The missions feel immersive and serious, supported by strong sound design and music. More than anything, Medal of Honor proved that FPS games could truly work on consoles, and it helped shape everything that followed. So which one caught you off guard? If you made it this far, the next list goes even deeper into hidden original PlayStation gems. Subscribe and stick around.